Silent Spring, Rachel Carson. This is Silent Spring, written by Rachel Carson, a book that shook the world in 1962 and continues to echo today. Carson's words are not just pages in a book, they are warnings, visions, and stories that force us to see the invisible threads tying human life to the health of nature. Her message is simple but urgent. When we poison the earth, we poison ourselves. Stay tuned as we journey through every chapter of this masterpiece, told in the form of a living story. What's in it for you? Why should you spend the next half hour with this book summary? Because Carson's story is not about the past. It's about today, about you, and about all of us. She reveals how chemicals, once marketed as miracles, quietly reshaped our soil, our rivers, our food, and even our bodies. By listening, you'll gain more than knowledge. You'll gain awareness. You'll learn to recognize the hidden costs of progress, to question what you're told, and to realize that protecting the planet is not a lofty dream, but the most practical act of survival. Rachel Carson hands us a mirror, and in it we see both the mistakes of our history and the possibility of a better tomorrow. Chapter 1: A Fable for Tomorrow. Carson begins with a haunting tale, a small town in America where spring once brought blossoms, birdsong, and laughter. But one day something changes. The birds fall silent. The livestock grow sick. The rivers no longer sparkle with life. The town becomes a graveyard of whispers. This fable is not fiction. It is a warning of what happens when pesticides infiltrate every corner of life. By beginning with story instead of science, Carson forces us to feel the loss before she explains it. Chapter 2: The Obligation to Endure. Here, Carson reminds us that humans are the only species with the power to alter Earth on a grand scale, yet we act without wisdom. She describes chemicals that seep into soil, water, and air, not vanishing but accumulating silently. Unlike natural threats that evolve and fade, these man-made toxins persist, multiplying across generations. She argues that with great power comes great responsibility. Humanity's survival depends not just on invention, but on humility. Chapter 3: Elixirs of Death. Now Carson takes us into the laboratories. Scientists engineered pesticides like DDT and alderin to kill pests. They were celebrated as miracle cures for hunger and disease, but the truth? These were elixirs of death. She explains how these chemicals do not discriminate. They strike bees, birds, fish, pets, and people alike. The cure becomes worse than the disease. And because we cannot see these toxins, their spread feels invisible until the silence of birds reveal their presence. Chapter 4: Surface Waters and Underground Seas. Water, Carson says, is nature's bloodstream, but rivers, lakes, and aquifers have become dumping grounds for chemical runoff. She tells chilling stories of fish floating belly up, of poisoned streams where children once played. Water connects all living things, so when it carries poison, the damage ripples outward endlessly. Chapter 5: Realms of the Soil. Beneath our feet lies an entire world, soil alive with worms, microbes, fungi, and roots. It is the quiet engine of life. Yet pesticides disrupt this hidden realm, sterilizing the earth itself. She describes how poisons travel downward, contaminating groundwater and destroying fertility. Soil, the ancient partner of life, becomes a silent victim. Chapter 6: Earth's Green Mantle. The green mantle, the forests, fields, and meadows, is humanity's life support system, but chemical sprays strip it bare. Carson tells of forests where mighty elms wither after being showered with poisons meant to kill beetles, of meadows where wildflowers disappear. She paints the tragedy of ecosystems collapsing not from natural fire or storm, but from human arrogance. Chapter 7: Needless Havoc. Carson asks, must we really cause this much destruction? She shares examples of pesticide programs that backfired, killing natural predators of pests and worsening the very problem they were meant to solve. The waste is not just ecological, it is moral. We inflict suffering blindly, forgetting that balance, not brute force, is the law of nature. Chapter 8, And No Birds Sing. This chapter is a dirge. Carson describes neighborhoods where robins fall dead in gardens, their tiny bodies poisoned by the very lawns people believed were safer after spring. The silence of songbirds becomes the most painful symbol. It is not just the loss of birds, it is the loss of joy, of childhood wonder, of spring itself. Rivers of death. Carson recalls rivers once full of fish that now run barren. Communities that relied on fishing watch their lifeline collapse. She gives chilling accounts of mass die-offs, salmon failing to return, and trout disappearing. Rivers, once metaphors of life, are turned into conduits of death. Indiscriminately from the skies. Governments launched vast aerial spraying campaigns, blanketing towns and forests in clouds of poison. Planes flew low, raining chemicals over homes, children, crops, and wildlife alike. Carson tells of communities helpless beneath this toxic rain, of farmers watching their livestock collapse, and ordinary citizens powerless to stop it. Progress had taken wings and become a terror in the skies. Beyond the dreams of the bourgeois. Here, Carson sharpens her tone. She compares modern chemical power to the poisonings of Renaissance Italy, when the infamous Borgia family used poisons to murder rivals. The Borgias killed individuals, but modern science, she warns, has created poisons powerful enough to kill thousands silently, without trace. Humanity has become both victim and executioner. The human price. Now Carson brings the danger home to us. She reveals that pesticides infiltrate our food, our milk, our water. They accumulate in human tissues, pass from mother to child. Cancer rates rise, nerves weaken, immunity falters. The tragedy is that ordinary people rarely connect their sickness to the invisible poisons around them. The human body becomes a battlefield it never chose. Through a narrow window. Carson explains how science uncovers these truths through delicate experiments on cells and animals, but such research faces resistance, underfunded, and dismissed because it threatens powerful industries. It is as if humanity peers through a narrow window, glimpsing the vast dangers beyond, yet refuses to open the shutters fully. 1 in every 4. Carson confronts us with a stark number. Cancer is striking 1 in every 4 people. She argues that pesticides are not the sole cause, but they are an undeniable contributor. The tragedy lies in their preventability. She asks, how can we call ourselves civilized while quietly sowing seeds of disease in every harvest? Nature fights back. Nature is not passive. Carson shows how insects evolve resistance to pesticides. Each new spray breeds a stronger generation, forcing scientists into a deadly race of escalation. Meanwhile, natural predators, birds, bats, spiders, are wiped out, leaving pests to thrive unchecked. We fight nature, and nature adapts faster than we can. The rumblings of an avalanche. Carson uses the metaphor of an avalanche. It begins with a small rumble, but once it starts, it cannot be stopped. The avalanche here is public awakening. Whispers of concern grow louder. Citizens demand answers, doctors raise alarms, and communities begin to question the chemical age. Change is slow, but the mountain is moving. The other road. Carson closes not with despair, but with hope. There is another road, a road of harmony with nature. She describes alternative methods, biological controls, natural predators, and selective use of chemicals only when necessary urges a future where science works with nature, not against it. The choice is ours, to continue the road of poison or to take the other road, where spring is not silent, but alive with song. Final takeaway. Rachel Carson's Silent Spring is not just a book, it's a mirror. It shows us the cost of arrogance, the beauty of balance, and the urgent need to act with wisdom. If there's one lesson to carry with you, it is this. Every choice we make, what we spray, what we consume, what we protect, echoes across the web of life. Carson's call remains clear. The future is not written. It depends on whether we choose silence or song. Stay tuned for more reflections on the books that shape our understanding of the world.